Hey guys, hope you're doing well. Today I'm going to do a quick comparison, not from a feature to feature standpoint, how well does one piece of gear do X thing versus the other thing, which one does it better. That's not necessarily the approach, but instead the purpose of today's video is to ask a very important question, right? You guys know that I love the Kemper and I use it all the time, but it's definitely not right for everybody. And so there's an interesting market entry from a company called Flamma, a Chinese company, that does provide some of the value that the Kemper provides for me and sort of performs some of its functions well enough to get by in certain situations. So I wanted to take a look at it and sort of compare it to the Kemper and just ask the question, do I need to buy the Kemper if it costs 10 times as much, or will the Flamma FX-100 be just fine for me? So I'm hoping to address that question in this video today. So let's get into it. So what am I going to be using the Flamma FX-100 for in this video? I'm not going to demo it. It has a ton of features. Basically, I'm going to be asking the question, at 1/10 of the price of a brand new Kemper. This retails for I think $150, and the Kemper you can get for about $1,500, I believe. There's a non-powered Kemper. You may be able to find a better one, better deal used or whatever, but just generally they're about $1,500. The Flamma is about $150, so at 10% of the price, it might be worth it if you can get away with just this. So, spoiler alert, I do think there is a use case that says the Flamma does the job for me, I don't need to buy the Kemper. And here's what I think it is. The Flamma, this unit, the Flamma, whatever, however you say their name, I'm going to call it the Flamma FX-100. The Flamma FX-100, okay. If you're looking for a digital solution to essentially have a digital amp and cab simulation, as well as being able to load IRs and go direct out to front of house or to your interface to record or something like that, emulating an amplifier, trying to replace it with a digital unit for rehearsals, for what have you, I actually think the Flamma makes a very, very compelling argument. All right, so disclaimer, when you pull the Flamma out of the box and plug it in, I think it has like 50 presets or something like that, maybe 100, I don't know. A lot of them just sound like trash to me. They're not good. However, that being said, it's very easy to load IRs onto this unit. All you gotta do is download the software and then copy and paste the IRs you wanna put on this thing. And then it's pretty easy to get in here and put them on whatever preset you want in the cab section here. So that's pretty easy to do. That being said, even once you do that, you really got to come in here and find what preset sounds best to you, even though again they all kind of sound like trash. And then choose basically a starting point to start tweaking. So what I'm going to model for you today is just one preset. It is their 2R clean. I'm assuming that means it's a 2-rock style clean sound. It's the one that I thought sounded the best after a lot of tweaking and messing around. I have Tone Junkie IRs loaded into this Flamma, so shout out to Tone Junkie, HW, Suze, and the team for making great IRs. This IR is actually part of their free pack, so you can get IRs for free. Go into ToneJunkieStore.com. Recommend you do that. If you haven't messed with IRs, get your hands on some for free. It may be worth it to you to go buy some and have more at your disposal to play with and more tools in your toolbox. So, all right. So let's get an idea of what this 2-rock clean sounds like. Just through I picked a guitar that I think is pretty normal. A lot of folks kind of have. This is my 2006 Stratocaster. So let's see what this thing sounds like. All right, let's turn up the gain a little bit and see what happens here. The Flamma is totally viable. I mean, once you dial it in, and you know, the IR helps tremendously. I mean, an exponential amount. But you know, if you're just looking for a digital amp solution, it's all there. I mean, I think it sounds as good as any other, I don't know, just general IR loader. I don't mean to distill, you know, I know that there are plenty other solutions out there like the Strymon Iridium, and you know, I haven't tried the Walrus Audio, the ACS1. I've heard it sounds incredible though. But strictly talking about if you're just looking for a digital amp and cab solution, right? I know some of those other products do a lot more than just that, including the Kemper. I certainly wouldn't boil the Kemper just down to that. But if that's really all you need, I don't know, man. I'm hard pressed to tell anybody to go out and do anything but spend the $150 on this and have everything you need. I haven't even gotten into the fact that the delays actually sound okay. They're passable. You know, the EQ is pretty moldable. The reverb sounds okay. You heard a little bit of it in there. Yeah, the reverb's just from this unit. So, you know, it works. It's fine. Is it like the Kemper? No, we'll see that in a second. But, I mean, it's not bad. It's really not that bad. I'll tell you what. For me, and what I've used, the reason that I bought this and what I gave it a chance on, and it actually worked out well for me, is I put together a really tiny board just for rehearsals that literally fit the Flamma and like one overdrive, maybe two overdrives, and a delay, and just ran those pedals straight into the front of the unit. And I mean, it's just fine. It's totally fine for rehearsals and stuff. So I don't know, man. I'm hard pressed to tell anybody to go spend more money than they need to if that's really the only solution you're looking for. All right, so let's plug in the Kemper. Same thing. I'm actually not even going to use XLR. I will just use 1/4 inch out of the Kemper, and yeah, we'll go with that. I will put the Timmy in front as well, and I won't touch a thing, just so you guys have it apples to apples. So let me take a second and get that hooked up. All right, so you guys can hear this crazy hum, right? Right? Okay. So this happened as soon as I turned the Kemper on. I never used the 1/4 inch main outputs. I always used the monitor 1/4 inch outputs and used the main XLRs. So right now, I just wanted to make a point. My last video about the ground lifts in the Kemper, right now the main jacks are lifted, meaning that they're not grounded. But when I ground them, listen to this. All of that noise goes away. Again, I didn't mean to prove my own point from my last video, but that does it. All right. So now the outputs are grounded and we're good to go. Let me grab my guitar. Oh. Without slamming it on anything. Okay, so I've got the Kemper hooked up. I had to ground the output jack, as you heard. So let me try to dial in the level so that it's about even. And then I'm just gonna play kind of the same stuff. I'll turn the Timmy on for some overdrive, and yeah, we'll just see how they compare. So just a technical note, I am not putting these into any preamps or anything. I'm literally straight 1/4 inch into my Focusrite Scarlett interface. So yeah, there's no processing or tricks or craziness here. We're just gonna see what they both sound like directly plugged in. They might both sound like trash, I don't know. We'll see. So I can already tell the Kemper sounds a million times better, at least to me in headphones, but we'll see what happens in when I'm editing. I mean, there's already so much more high mids and highs in there that anytime I tried to dial those into the Flamma, it just got really digital sounding and not good. It was very hard to get a good rich sound out of the Flamma, but yeah, you can get a nice rich tone here and have all that high end, the highs, the presens, and the high mids, and it all sounds good. So all right. So it's pretty obvious to me, at least in headphones, that the Kemper sounds a million times better. But for you, is it worth 10 times the price? I think it really depends. That's usually the answer. It depends. I think that if you're just looking for a solution to make your amp and cabinet digital that you want to use for rehearsals or whatever, or practicing at home in a pair of headphones, you can even play with pedals, obviously. I think the Flamma is probably the move. But if you have any aspirations of using the Kemper Live, which I think everyone should who can get their hands on one, or using it in the studio environment and for recording sessions, because it is just an incredible tool. Yeah, it's crazy just being able to, browse through a bunch of different amplifiers that have been profiled, and their souls captured, and now they live inside this metal box. Being able to browse through, literally hundreds of amps and, figure out which one sits in the mix the way that you like without having to, mic up different amps and that kind of thing. There's plenty of videos out there about why the Kemper's valuable for studio environments, but if you have any aspirations to use it in the studio or live, Kemper's probably worth it. But yeah, I just wanted to prove a point. You can go out and spend $150 and have a digital solution that sounds decent and gets the job done. So just wanted to share that with you guys, as it was a thought on my mind. It's something, a little quick comparison, I guess, that I wanted to do for a while. So yeah, if you enjoyed this and know somebody that's looking to just get their hands on some sort of digital solution so they don't have to lug their amp around or whatever, just something they can send a quarter inch out of and go direct, but they don't want to buy, they don't even want to spring for like an HX Stomp or something, I think the Flamma is just fine. It doesn't sound great, but it gets the job done. And yeah, so you heard it yourself, so feel free to send it to them and let them use their own ears just like you heard it and make their own decision. But if you found it helpful, you think that they might as well, please share it with one person. Just want to grow the channel that way, just person to person. I know that's nice and slow, but that's just fine with me. But thank you guys so much, and I'll see you next time.